That pretty well covers everything.
Hey, welcome to PSC Sports Chat. We got me and Max, a couple guests on here. Uh, we'll let Ramos and Jeremy, introduce themselves real quick.
Go ahead, Vic.
I am Ramos and Sons. I'm Victor Ramos. Ramos and Sons Cars and Collectibles from Oklahoma.
I'm Jeremy McAwee from Ada, Oklahoma. I help with the Ada show and go to some of the OKC shows set up. Mainly Pokemon cards, but I collect sports cards too.
Outstanding. Right. Appreciate you guys showing up on time as well. Our guests are not used to that.
We're actually early.
So the next show, I guess. Yeah, exactly. So the next show, I guess, guys, is what, this weekend?
Yep, this weekend, OKC at the Hawthorne. Looks scary on the outside, but it's fun on the inside.
And you guys both will be at the show?
Yep.
Yes, we will both be there vending.
Yeah, it is kind of scary on the outside. It is.
That is a good way to put it. A lot of people come through that show, though. A lot of people.
I'll tell you the honest truth, man. I've been doing the show probably about 2 years right there at the Meridian at Hawthorne Suites. And it does throw an off-standing vibe when you get there. But there has not been a time where there has been no one there. There is always a big crowd that comes through there. And I'm not saying it's the prettiest of shows, but it is a good show when it comes down to it. And I've gotten some great trades, some buys there. I mean, it's a good show.
I always have a good show when I'm there. I remember Victor, when I was asking him about it, because I've been there about a year now, he said, first time before you think about setting up, just go check it out. He's like, it looks super shady, but once you get inside, it's cool. And there's not a lot of places that, I feel comfortable just leaving my daughter alone because she's 14. But with the community that's in there, the guys that are there, I trust them. And as shady as it looks on the outside, on the inside, I can leave my daughter alone and know that she's going to be taken care of.
Yep, a lot of good vendors there.
Yeah, the inside there's not bad.
No. I've been going 3-4 years. I don't know. Took a long while off after the Nader came through. that puts a little halt on some stuff. But both Kevins, I guess, they put on a good show. And that one actually is probably one of the more consistent ones.
Yeah, I enjoy that they have autographed guests there too. Even though some of them aren't, huge names, but I like the baseball guys just, getting a card or a ball signed for $5.
These names aren't bad. I mean, Mark Clayton, he was good. Same Josh Norman, he was solid.
Oh, Josh Norman's going to be there. Me and Bobby had him down at the stores down here a couple years ago. Nice guy. He took time out with all the kids. Now, granted, we were at grocery stores, but every kid that came up, he asked, how are you doing? If they were older teenagers, he asked them, hey, what do you plan on doing after school? He just took a real interest in each kid. It wasn't wasn't just a signature and here you go.
That's nice.
Super cool.
I know one of the first times I went up there, yeah, the shady look is a good way to put it, Mr. Ramos. I had met Kevin before that. He goes, just come check it out. I did the same thing Jeremy did, went and checked it out. I was like, man, there's a lot of people that come through. What do I have that they might want, and what could I maybe pick up? Because if I'm having a good weekend, I'm going to turn around and get something from someone in there. Because you guys have seen me. I'll be sitting there like, man, I got to rip something. I got to get something.
He's itching.
But you just got to find a good deal. A lot of the same vendors go there all the time, and like Jeremy said, they're good people. Even the whatnot guy, he's a good way to explain he's maybe the itty bitty shady on the inside when you look at him, but he's hilarious.
Oh, Shiz is awesome. I love the dude.
Oh, Sean, yeah. He does his live broadcasts right there.
Yeah,
he gets a little excited sometimes, but it's fun. He's an awesome guy. I love seeing him. He always comes up, shakes my hand, asks me how I'm doing. So I've enjoyed getting to know him.
And Max, you're the newest one of us hitting those.
Very cool.
What?
All right.
What do you think?
Exactly. I'm the new guy on the block. So,
What'd you think of the Ada show?
We did good. We did good at the Hawthorne last time. Ada show we did well.
You had to leave early because it was Eric's birthday, right? Too.
Yeah, I had to come pick him up. I wasn't
birthday boy.
Wasn't
but
working
it was starting to slow down pretty good then.
From what I hear, it was one of the busiest ones he's had.
We did all right though.
Yeah, we had a lot of foot traffic for Ada. Slowly getting built up. Had a lot of good feedback from the other vendors. So we had some guys from Chickasha, Tulsa, and they're wanting to come back for our September show. So looking forward to it. Continue to keep building. Autograph Inc. is going to try to get somebody. They're working on getting us worked into the schedule so we can have somebody there signing. Don't know who. Just told them bring whoever you can. We'll love to host anybody. So hopefully we can keep that going. Have the concession going inside. I think that helps a little bit too for guys. So I'm looking forward to it. We're growing.
I have seen that show from the beginning with just a few tables, and with the partnerships that it's brought between Jeremy and Chris and BG Sports and everybody involved, it's grown very fast. And like you said, Jeremy, a lot of people are giving good feedback on it because of the atmosphere of it. The atmosphere is more family oriented, and because it's a smaller show, you're able to talk to everybody and build relationships with patrons and families and give things to the kids instead of rushing everybody through. So it's a good atmosphere, and it's grown very fast. So if anybody hasn't been there, I recommend on the next one in September to go check it out. It's a good buying show for me too, because way out there, they don't have a lot of places to go sell their stuff. So when they bring stuff to you, they're bringing you quality stuff out there.
Yeah, because you got guys that have never sold at card shows before. It's just stuff they've been hoarding for a decade or two or three, and it's cool. And plus, it's a good show to set up for a first-time vendor because, strunk shows, it's getting where it doesn't feel like a hobby. It feels like a job some weekends because you're just constantly on your feet talking to people every 5 minutes. You got somebody coming right after each other, have 3 or 4 people deep at your table. So the Ada show, kind of a little more laid back. You don't get overwhelmed like you can at the city shows. So it's a good show to kind of test the waters to see if you want to set up as a vendor and see how you do with it.
Yeah, I was at.
I don't know, man. You seem to be overwhelmed over there. Your table's always popping. It seems like.
Man, what that Pokemon has
look over there. It's got 15 fucking people in these lines.
Yeah, I didn't have my daughter with me either, so I had a couple times where I was trying to keep track of 3 or 4 people. And the biggest thing is you want to trust people, but you got to watch hands. You got to watch 5 or 6 sets of hands, make sure somebody's not trying to pull something from you. But that's one of the reasons I say busy too, is because I don't have a ton of high-end stuff. So I have tons of low-end stuff, and it brings a lot of kids, moms and dads. They, rather get 10 things for $30 instead of that one thing for 40 or 50. But
hey, when you have the ones that are, looking to spend that 40 or 50, you send them over my way.
I'll remember that next time.
Right.
I remember being at that first show too. I think it was like the second show where I met Vic. And he's right. That Ada show at the beginning was very just, but to me, it was local. It's close. It's a 30-minute drive. It's not an hour 15. It's not an hour and a half. It's close.
Yeah, and I've heard both the pros and cons for it being a 1-day show compared to a 2-day. I know some of the guys that do this full time would love it to be a 2-day show because they're making the drive down. But I've had a lot of guys too that even coming from Tulsa and Chickasha, they were like, "It's nice just to have a 1-day show where we can get back home, have Sunday off." So we're hoping maybe growing it to a 2-day, but that's still that's out there a ways. Right now, we're just going to stick with the 1-day, keep growing, keep getting name out, and see what we can do.
Yeah, I like the 1-day shows personally. Sometimes those 2-day shows, Sunday, you're kind of like, why am I here?
Yeah. You get that one little kind of rush. Sometimes
you don't
before
get the
church and
ROI
the rush
on
after.
Sundays.
Then it depends on what games are on too.
I'll be completely honest with you guys. I have had on a Sunday where I sat there all day and didn't make $1, and maybe 15 minutes before I pack up after church, I get a $3,000 sale on a Sunday. It has happened to me more than one time, but you got to stick it out because you only get that window probably between 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock.
Damn.
Yeah.
That people are coming after church, after they eat dinner. I mean, lunch with their families, and they come popping in. That's pretty much the only window. And I always tell myself that on a Sunday, no matter where I'm at, Texas or here or Kansas, to just tell yourself that you got a short window in there and you could still make some money.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen tons of guys, especially on the Pokemon side, that would start to leave around that 1 or 2 o'clock. And sometimes by 4 o'clock, it just may be me and a couple other guys. And I've always come out with a couple $100 that last hour or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I base if I'm going to stay on Sunday, how long I'm going to stay, on how well Saturday was. If Saturday was a bad day, I'll probably be there all day Sunday. Just like you guys said, hey, someone else may leave, because if you're, for those that stay up there, if you're going to be spending the money on a hotel, which I don't have to, being it's 30 minutes away, but you want to try to get some of that back.
Yeah,
and you never know what someone might walk in with, like, hey, you're like, what?
Oh, yeah.
That's why I haven't spread out much. I pretty well stick with OKC and Edmond because I get to stay with my family in Mustang, and I'm too cheap to stay in a hotel. I'd probably sleep in my truck first.
They're going up. They're going up every month. Every month they're going up. That's why I've shortened my trips to San Antonio and Houston because of those fees. They're going up every month.
Now, some of the bigger shows, Vic, are table prices staying the same, or are they going up too?
With the market, with the way Pokemon's taken over in the sports market, it depends on where it's at. If it's more in a suburban area, then it's going to be pretty much raised a little bit because of the Pokemon. But if it's in the more rural areas or if it's in more of the smaller areas, then they kind of keep their market down so they can draw people in. So, and I'll be honest, I kind of like the smaller shows right now. The bigger shows have turned more into a flipper situation where everybody wants to make money. The smaller shows are where the collectors and the families and the kids are at. So you can educate children on what's going on with the sports market and the Pokemon market, as well as help families getting involved with it now because they don't get that access to us vendors that have the information when you're going to those big shows. Like you said, they're shuffling through so fast,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I like when the families come through because I remember when I was little, we all were little collecting
Pokemon a lot, Vic?
What's that?
I think he asked if you mess with Pokemon any.
I was asking, do you do a lot of Pokemon?
I do not. I do not touch Pokemon at all. I'm strictly sports, entertainment. I do a little bit of pop culture, and a little bit of the funky black and white PSA stuff. But I do not mess with Pokemon. I just don't understand the market, brother. You know what I mean? And the way the market fluctuates, and I have to have an understanding of what's going on. And a lot of people either were into it when they were younger, and built with it to where they are today, so they understand, the difference between the cards. But me jumping in it right now, I'm kind of priced out too, as far as boxes, as far as inventory. It's very high right now. So unless you were in and fluctuating money, it's very hard to get into as well. You will be stumbling trying to get in at this point. If you were already in, like Jeremy was from the beginning, then the market explodes with you. But at this point, when the market exploded, you're kind of priced out like real estate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what.
No, yeah,
I
that
looked at
makes sense.
Pokemon. Max asked me, "Hey, what about Pokemon?" I said, "I'm not even fucking with Pokemon. Ain't no way. I couldn't tell you. I never was into it before, you know. And they got these cards that just go for so much. It's like, why is this
Me either.
so high?" it's hey, that's what it goes for.
If you're going to do sports and Pokemon, you pretty well have to have a crew doing it because there's just too much in the market for one person to keep track of everything. Because I started trying to get into sports a little bit because that's where my background was for 20 plus years. And it's too much to keep up with, way too much, especially since just me and my daughter, you know, I can trust her to work a table, but she's not going to be able to answer questions for anybody or tell anybody anything. And it's just, it's too overwhelming to try to do both, even if you only pick one sport. But most people do sports. You got your main three of baseball, basketball, football that you mess with. And it's just, there's a ton of information out there.
Yeah, so I leave it to Jeremy.
No, it's
I leave it to Jeremy and the other guys. I don't mess with it.
Yeah, he can keep all the Pokemon.
Yeah, I took my investment and put it more towards WWE and soccer right now. WWE exploded when the Topps Chrome came out, and they were opening boxes at stores with WWE stars. UFC was going up, but then it started to go back down, just because there's so much of a market for bare knuckle boxing and WWE. With the major company acquiring them, they're putting more marketing behind WWE right now. So paying attention to the market as well as what's happening socially with the companies, you can tell when cards are going to explode. And I can't keep WWE on the table. I know it's sports entertainment. I know this, that, and the other, but there are so many families and kids. And then with them coming to Dallas, with them coming to Tulsa, with them coming to Oklahoma City, there's so many fans. So WWE is a big market right now.
Well, you still got a lot of the wrestlers from the 90s that we all probably watched and had some type of connection to that they're still in the game.
Yeah.
You know, whether they may not be fighting all the time, but whether they're doing something, they're still involved in that name, you know, will bring the older people in too, and then they start bringing their kids in.
Yes, sir.
You know,
when did them Comic Cons come around where I can meet Jim Cornette? I need to meet Jim Cornette. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I have a connection, guys. Shout out to Tacoma Pro Wrestling Academy down here in Ardmore, Oklahoma. Look him up, please, guys. My son goes there. He's a miniature pro wrestler right now. He's a teenager. Shout out to Fuego del Sol.
Hell yeah.
Shout out to
That's awesome.
D'Lo Brown. They're all his coaches. Joe Harrell from TNA Wrestling and Ring of Honor. They're all coaches there in Ardmore. So they actually bring RVD down here. D'Lo Brown's wrestling on the 21st right here in Ardmore. They've had Jim Morrison or whatever that Morrison guy is. They've had so many people come down here because they have connections to everybody. So if you are into stuff like that, and if you pay attention to my page, because I always help promote them since my son is involved with them, to Texacoma Pro Wrestling, and they're about to have an affiliation with K10 local channel down here.
Wow.
In Ardmore. They're going to do every Wednesdays. They're sealing the deal right now, and then they also have an affiliation with one of the territories that they might be associated with here coming up soon. So a lot to come from them out here in Ardmore. If you're interested, if I find out if Jim Cornette's coming down, Max, I'll let you know right away, brother, so you can get down here and get a picture and an autograph, bro, because he's right here in the territories.
Is that the guy? How's his name? Jerry? That started it?
Yeah, he's still in Tennessee.
No, local down in Ardmore.
Jerry. As far as I know, the guys that run it are Robert and Joe.
There's a guy that ran. When that entertainment store closed, they opened their own version of it. He brought wrestling. I can't think of his name.
Talking about Anime City?
No, I want to say, God, what is the name? Hastings. He opened a different version of Hastings down in Ardmore. I can't think of his name, but he put on an Oklahoma WrestleCon years back up in Oklahoma City, and me and Bobby and his brothers went up there. Jim Cornette was there. Bobby's sick in a hospital, And I went up to him and said, hey, you might call my friend Bobby. He's in the hospital. He had a ticket to come here and everything. Dude, Jim Cornette on the fly left the most funny voicemail to him ever. Because, of course, Bobby doesn't answer the phone. He's sleeping. And, Cornette was great. They had everybody. God, if I could think of this guy's name. Because they had their own wrestling promotion out of Ardmore.
Did Jim Cornette cut the promo for him?
No, they had all kinds of people. They had Sting there. They had Kevin Nash, who's a dick. Jeff Jarrett was there. Jeff Jarrett's wife was Karen Jarrett was there. Rock and Roll Express was there. I mean, they had a good crew that was up there for that show. And they only did that for 1 year.
That Kurt Angle's wife?
Ex-wife, but yes, it was her.
Was that Kurt Angle's wife? So it was Karen Angle. Gotcha. Okay, just want to make sure I'm catching on to who you're saying there. Okay, Karen Angle. Gotcha.
But yes, wrestling is really catching on as far as the cards go, bro.
Jerry Bostic.
Okay, I've heard of him.
Yeah, that's the guy that started it.
Yeah,
we went to a show down in Ardmore when Fuego del Sol came out, and Bobby had his nephew there, and Del Sol came out like first, and his nephew was probably like 7 at the time. And for every wrestler after Fuego came out, he was yelling Fuego, Fuego. For it didn't matter what wrestler, it didn't matter. It was Fuego. But yeah, it was a good show. They did it down there with Hardy Murphy or somewhere.
Well, now they're at the Metroplex or Metroflex. I'm sorry, Metroflex. It's a gym down here in Ardmore, right off the I-35. It's not far from the I-35, so just get off and it's right there. But they're at the Metroflex in Ardmore. It's a big gym, and in the back, they have their own facility. It's awesome. I mean, if you go check them out, Texacomo Pro Wrestling on YouTube, they're live every weekend. They're live. And they have me doing some stuff for them, too. I've done some security for them. I've helped them out a few times with some other things. I mean, my son's involved, and you know us fathers. If your kids are involved, you're going to get involved, too. So, but they do it in Sherman as well well, they were doing it at the lodge in Sherman, but it got destroyed by one of the tornadoes. Oh. So now they're just here in Ardmore doing the shows. But D'Lo Brown on the 21st, if anybody's interested, it's on my page. I'll have the flyers on my page.
I'll have to go check that out. Speaking of fathers, Vic, there's
definitely.
A comment from Ramos and Sons saying, sending love from California. I wonder if that's your boy.
That is Leland Michael. That's the one you guys all met. Well, Max, you have led to meet him because he went back to California. But he just recently graduated.
Nice.
From high school.
Tell him congrats.
He's got perfect grades. He's about to go to college. He's actually going to the Bahamas with his
So
buddies
is
for a
that
senior trip.
Say what, Max?
So is he he's not the wrestler though. The wrestler was the one I met the other week, right?
Yes, sir. That's John. You'll get them mixed up because I have 8 of them. I have 8 sons, so you will get them mixed up. But the one that's on there watching us live right now, he's in California. I have 2 others with him, his brothers Robert and Devin. And Devin just graduated into high school. And Robert is a full-blown mechanic working at a shop doing his thing. So shout out to them out in California. Appreciate you guys watching. Love you guys.
All right, so we got this.
Thank
June
you for
show.
watching.
What's
anybody? Is there any July shows? I haven't heard any July shows.
I saw a couple of little ones. I don't remember what they are.
The next one that I found.
Well, that's usually nationals. A lot of them don't put them out.
Was this
in
August
July.
one?
Yeah. I know Fire Ant's been pretty well every month.
I know Spencer.
Have you guys set up there?
I have not.
I have. I went up there. Spencer's a good guy, real good guy. He's part of the community. I went up there just on a whim to go walk around and hang out. He had an open table, and I was able to set up. A lot of people that come through right there in the Edmond area. He has a nice little setup. He has a little shop in the front right there with boxes that you can buy and other stuff. Affordable tables. They're not outpriced. So the Fire Ant show with Spencer, it's a good little show. It really is, and he has no intentions of growing huge or anything. It's just a local show right there for the people. Good buys. I got some good buys there, and I also made some good money there. So shout out to Spencer and the Fire Ant Show. And I know that we'll be doing one in July. I just haven't seen the date on it.
I've messaged him before about trying to set up, but with the way my work is now with new ownership, I don't know which way's up right now, which way's down.
Yeah, I know GG2, they've got their show in Broken Arrow, I think second week of July.
Yes.
I won't set up there because I don't have family up there to crash with because I'm too cheap, and like I said, not gonna stay in a hotel. But I probably will go to that one because they always have good autograph guests. Nice big show, like what Kevin does. Tons of people there, and that's a show I like to go walk around and just be a buyer, be a collector.
GG2 is good, always good. The one they do in Broken Arrow in Tulsa, and then they also do one in Arkansas, right over the border in Arkansas, in a very, very high, pristine place, which is very nice. Clean bathrooms, clean place. It's very nice. Matt and Katie, GG2, Griffey Guy, Griffey Gal, they're very good people. And they accommodate the vendors. They're all about the vendors. They try to accommodate as many people as they can.
I've met both of them just once, just kind of talking to them about possibly vending them. They were just came across super down to earth, super nice people. I enjoyed visiting with them.
Yeah, I've met them. They're nice. They're I went to a couple years ago, went to one to check it out in Arkansas, and I was amazed. I was like, wow.
I did see you, Eric, at that one in Arkansas. You popped up real quick, huh?
But yeah, July won't be many. I'm looking to this one right up there because you got Mr. Jose Canseco going to be there.
August.
I'm hoping there's something that the vendors can have a chance to
we'll definitely
meet him, shake his hand. I know when Bosworth came in, I just had to give my cards to Kevin to get them signed because I wasn't able to get away from my table to do anything.
There was a lot of people at that UConn show, man. That was a good show, dude.
Well, Bosworth was there. I mean,
yeah, that was a nice one.
That was a good show.
Kevin said it was busier than the one he had the Thunder at, and I don't know that one. Who do you have?
Aaron Wiggins.
Yeah. People were lined up, and I was like, I don't think it was busier than Bosworth as far as people getting an autograph.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Canseco, and I did talk to Kevin about it. He goes, it might be one of those deals. If you're going to go meet him, you might have to pay for the item right there because he don't know if he'll do a private deal for vendors or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine paying whatever. Just it'd be cool to meet him, shake his hand, instead of just giving my cards to Kevin to get signed.
My boys met him at the Dallas Card Show probably about, I'd say the end of last year. That man's arms, his forearms look like tree trunks, bro. Still to this day, bro. He was laid back. He's a real nice guy. He took pictures of my kids, even though I didn't pay for it and everything. Signed cards for us. But this part of his arm, bro, it's just it veins popping out. It looks like a damn tree trunk, bro.
Yeah, I've been stoked since I saw he was coming because that was my collector of choice. Canseco was the man when I was growing up. You know, yeah, he had some embarrassing moments. When I meet him, I won't mention the whole home run off the head. What are you talking about? That didn't happen.
I will say, Canseco, you can get his autograph for $10. I do a lot of through the mail stuff, and he's got a guy that's kind of like his manager, and you send it to him. He meets him once a month, gets stuff signed. So for $10, you can send a card through the mail and get signed. But
I want to meet him and get a picture with him.
To meet somebody in person, yeah, for sure.
Dallas Card Show's coming up too.
And any idea who these Pokemon guys are?
In your flyer?
Yeah, Vic Mignonia and Jay Odude.
Yeah.
And Matt Simpson. It says right there who they are.
Yeah, so,
I think they're the voices, right?
Yeah, they're voice actors.
Yeah, okay.
So I've only met Jay. I met him at
they're voice actors. See?
Yeah, voice actor. So I met at the El Reno show, and Jay is a super, super nice, awesome dude. He's done plays on Broadway. He's also an artist. He's got some really cool drawings. But he was so cool to talk to. So cool. He actually saw something on my table that he wanted, so I traded him for some autographs and some cards, and it is a real pleasure getting to know him. The other two I haven't met before, but just shout out to Jay. He's such an awesome, down-to-earth dude. I loved getting to visit with him. And talking about shows, so the GG2 show in July, they're going to have. Go ahead, Max.
Oh, go ahead. Good. No, go ahead. Good.
Okay, GG2, they are going to have Steve Largent there signing.
Oh wow, that's Mr. Seattle boy right there.
Yeah, so that was one of the reasons why I was wanting to go up there to get Steve's autograph.
And that one's in Tulsa.
Yeah, Broken Arrow.
Broken Arrow. Yeah.
Well, okay, yeah.
Yeah, Tulsa area.
When is that one?
It's Saturday, the weekend of July 12th, and it says that Steve will be there on Saturday. I haven't seen a time yet. Actually, just saw it. It says at 2.
And what's the charging?
It says looks like we're going to Broken Arrow.
Any items $20 and $5 extra for an inscription. So very reasonable. Very reasonable.
Yeah.
Bro, we got that Steve Largent patch, bro.
Well, hey, we also got a Bosworth mini that we can have him sign the other side. Oh, I don't know if it'll diminish the value.
Oh, that too.
I mean, come on, Bosworth.
Yeah, right.
Steve
Largent, Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame.
In August, yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. September's Ada, right?
Yep, September 13th, we got nailed down.
Yeah, September, we have, yep.
And like I said, working with Autographs Inc. to get somebody in to sign, still not 100% sure if they're going to be able to make it, who they're going to be able to get, but we're trying to get there so we can have somebody come in. And then our next Ada show probably won't be until January, sadly, because the Agriplex is all booked up for December, and we didn't want to do anything at the end of November with Thanksgiving coming up. So we may have to try to find a place to do a mini show or something.
Hey, I'm still down to try to do a sulfur one. It's basically going to have to do the hotel here, which I heard they went up on their pricing, so I got to go get more pricing. When I was looking at it right before the tornado hit down here, it was like $500 for half that room, and half of that room was plenty of room for having a show down here. So maybe we can work something out for that one.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Because I think trying to get one.
Maybe that one for rent, Eric. Might be able to rent that out for maybe a weekend.
The hotel will come with tables and everything. It was cheap before. I got to get their price, and I'll just have to go in there one day.
Yeah, last we talked about it, Eric, it was affordable and it was accessible for everybody off the freeway. So, and then if anybody wanted to stay for a Sunday, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the hard part is it was right across from downtown, and there's still no downtown, and there won't be for a little while. But maybe this will get some people in there. You know, you maybe get some people from Ardmore, Ada, Stratford, Roth, Davis, Sulphur, obviously. Draw a different clientele in there and get them introduced or reintroduced into some collecting.
And plus, you can do it early December before Christmas. I mean, that kind of brings people in for some of the Christmas shopping, because I had a lot of people get my number of wanting to get packs and stuff, stocking stuffers for the kids once Christmas rolls around.
Right. I'll look into that. It won't be this week. I got to do overnight a couple hours tonight. Maybe by Friday I can. But yeah, we'll look at that, get that one rolling.
Now I will say too, September the 27th, they're having PEC Day here in Ada. I will be set up with Pokemon. I think Colton with B&G, he was going to try to get a table set up with sports cards. I don't know how his work schedule is going to work out or not, but
you got info how we can get in there as a vendor?
Yeah, I'll after we're done here, I'll shoot you the information. So you get like a 10 by 10 area, and it's like I think it was $40, and
Really?
it's only from I think 9 to 2 or 9 to 3, so it's not an all day thing, but there is a ton of people that come through for PEC Day, a ton.
Yeah, shoot me some of that info.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that once we get off here. And if you don't hear from me in half an hour, send me a text, remind me.
We ready to hit some sports and see if Max surprises us?
See what we got.
Yeah, I got some good stuff. All right, so first of all, Chris Webber. Have you guys heard of the Doug Christie and Chris Webber situation going on here? They were teammates back in Sacramento, right? Okay,
That's
so Doug Christie and his wife were on the Basketball Wives show.
Okay.
Basically, Chris Webber is the father of Christie's daughter, what he thought to be the daughter for like 20 years. It comes out just recently that Chris Webber's the father.
Oh, wow.
Held the secret the whole time.
Wow.
As they had the fucking reality show, all the reality show, Living the Lie, he didn't know the whole fucking time. He just found this shit out.
Dang.
Yeah. I only heard about it. This has happened like a week ago. I didn't hear about it until today. Yeah. That shit's fucking crazy and fucked up. Like, how do you do that to a teammate? I mean, Delonte West fucking LeBron James's mom. I mean, that was his mom. That's a completely different story. That's not somebody's wife. It's somebody's mom. I mean, it is different. I don't know. Eric, what do you think?
Hey, as long as we don't have to deal with the Diddy thing today, and if this covers Diddy, we should be all right.
No, we got a little Diddy coming up. But
remember, there are children watching.
Diddy's not sports.
I know. I know. That's pop culture.
That's true. That's true.
All right.
So,
so moving right along, we have. Oh yeah, this is a good one. Iggy Pop, famous rock star. His last UK show, he leaves in a coffin. Now, I don't know about you guys, but leaving in a coffin, I don't know. That's like bad juju.
Was it his last show?
That's my thought on that one. Bad juju.
His last show?
His last show in the UK, yes. Yeah,
for him and rock stuff, I mean, it kind of makes sense. To me, it'd be kind of like the Undertaker, his last deal, leaving in a coffin or something.
Yeah. Last concert, I'm out in the coffin. Now you can't come back.
I mean, Iggy's never been like crazy gothic music, so it is a bit of a surprise. But music's all about symbolism, man. That's what it's about.
It is very punk rock, though. I will say that it is very punk rock.
Yeah.
So, here's the first video here. We're being paid $20 an hour to wear free Diddy t-shirts. Now, I know I don't make $20 an hour. And I work pretty hard. But I don't make $20 an hour wearing a Diddy t-shirt. I don't know. What is this world
Who's
coming
paying
to
them?
is my question.
Diddy. It has to be Diddy.
Probably
I wouldn't
Diddy.
think he has much money left.
Hey, instead of buying all this baby oil, he's buying free Diddy shirts.
Right?
To me, it's hard to believe.
Just got to move it around.
It's hard to believe that you're in a situation where you could be locked up for a long period of time, and you're more worried about your social symbolism in America than you are about your freedom. For them to pay people to put shirts on,
Funny enough,
that's more of a social aspect. It's more of a vainness about your category in social media or in social outlook. So I think that's very sad in this world right now, that more people are worried about things like that than they are about their own freedom.
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
He's
And his
so
mannerisms
arrogant,
in court have been
off.
very vain, from what I hear.
Oh yeah,
exactly. So speaking of that, Diddy, he has a meme coin, like a Bitcoin, right? Diddy's Bitcoin. Did you guys know about this?
No?
Diddy has a Bitcoin. Oh, you can't really see it. The worth of Diddy's Bitcoin is $0.000193 US. It's not even worth a fucking penny. I find that hilarious, personally.
He's trying to make some money in prison. Maybe he is getting short.
I don't know why it's worth a cent.
A coupon.
Yeah, I don't even know why it's worth a penny.
A coupon that a coupon that you clip out of the newspaper is worth more than Diddy meme coin. It's amazing. Gotta love it. All right, so moving on to something that means something. NBA playoffs. We got game 3 tonight in Indiana. Tied 1-1. Should be a good one tonight. Eric, what are your thoughts on tonight's game?
I think tonight's game, I think Thunder are going to take it, but it's going to be a close game. The Thunder got to win those close ones. That game 1, I mean, down the stretch, they missed 3 or 4 easy layup or right by the rim shots. They just got to learn to close them close games out. If they do that tonight, and not blow them. I know their game is to blow them out, but they got to win a couple of close ones. Huh? Say what?
I said shooting like Angel Reese out there.
Yeah,
Angel Reese, your girl.
That was a bad end of
shooting the 0.391 from the field this year. 391.
Yeah, I was reading she may get traded, but
Draymond Green shoots that from the 3-point line. And that's Draymond Green.
I'm thinking the Thunder take it, and they finally win a close one.
SGA has how many tonight?
33. I'm basing that off because we had Canseco up earlier, and his number was 33.
Solid. Vic, what do you think?
I think that Halliburton is a little bit hurt right now. So I think unless somebody steps up on Indiana to fill in those extra, that's kind of why he hasn't been hitting a lot of shots throughout the finals. He waits for those end shots, and he kind of doesn't run too fast, and because he's got a little bit of an injury that they're not talking about right now. He waits till the end to do his special shots so that he can kind of keep it close for me, guys, so I can finish it off for you, type of thing.
Now, you think it has anything to do with the NBA players? I believe voted him the most overrated player.
I think that's why he's playing so hard. Honestly, is because he's trying to prove a point. You know what I mean? They shunned him for the MVP on the Eastern Conference, so. And then with everybody saying that he's overrated, and I think he's trying to prove a point. But somebody on that team has to step up. And then as far as Shea goes, I think they're locking him down tonight. I think he's going to have to do a lot more passing. I think he might go for a finals high on passing tonight if he does his job. I think they're going to lock him down as soon as he steps in the paint. They're going to do what Denver was doing to them.
But he's doing enough to get the MVP, right?
Oh, yeah. As long as he gets a lot of passes and a lot of rebounds, which he usually does anyways, he's done his job as far as points go, I think. I think he has, you know what I mean, as far as the finals, as far as the playoffs. He's done his job. He just needs to pass the ball and keep it rotating, keep it moving. let them converge on him so everybody's open and then pass it out. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I think he needs to be at in these next 2 games. And then after that, when their spirits are down, then he can go off for 45, 50 points.
As long as he goes home with that MVP, right? Finals MVP.
Yeah, I need him to. I got a couple signed jerseys I need to get rid of.
Right? All right, so
what do you think?
Moving right along, next we have.
Jeremy,
could have put up the picture of Halliburton. And
how many cocktails have you had in there?
All right.
One, because I love my cup out there.
I don't follow the NBA much anymore. I was kind of peeking on highlights and stuff. Last decade, I've really gotten put out from all the flopping and acting and stuff. I mean, I miss 90s basketball, early 2000s, about kind of where I really quit following. But I miss 90s basketball. Hard nose. I mean, it was almost, if you weren't bleeding, it wasn't a foul type of deal. But it does look like Thunder should be able to take them. They just can't get cocky, can't let up. They got to keep pushing hard. Now, I will say, shout out to Shay.
You like basketball.
My daughter. What's up?
No, go ahead. I'll put it my. Go ahead.
Okay. My daughter did get a card signed by Shay. She went to a game, hollered at him. He signed a card. So he seems like he's a super nice dude that he, from what I hear, signs a lot, tries to get stuff for kids a lot. So he seems like a really, really cool dude. It's just, I just have a hard time watching a lot of games just from all the acting and stuff. And then I get it. Superstars, they don't always get the calls that they probably should. But let's quit with the flopping when somebody swings their arm 5 feet away.
LeBron.
Yeah.
You got to thank LeBron for that, bro.
I know. And I used to love LeBron. And no doubt, he's still an amazing player. Nobody can doubt what he's done. But it just seemed like when him and D-Wade teamed up in Miami, the maturity level just kind of went downhill for a while. And it was just like, I can't watch this.
The sad thing is it's coming down to the kids. I went to my nephew's basketball game a couple years ago. You're talking 12 and under kids, so 10, 11-year-olds. And there's this kid that he didn't even get touched, and he looked just like LeBron going, walking around like, dude, you're not even playing basketball. You're trying to get the attention of a ref for something that didn't happen.
Yeah. And quit giving guys high fives and shaking hands when they miss a freaking free throw. That has been driving me nuts.
I said that the other day. That pissed me off too.
Let's take another, minute to try to make everybody feel better. It's just, you missed a shot, man up, go make the next one. Quit shaking hands with everybody.
Yeah, exactly. So next we have hockey, NHL Finals, Stanley Cup. Yeah.
The
Florida.
Last score I remember seeing.
Up, correct?
They were up. I remember they beat the snot out of Edmonton. The last score I saw, that was a few days ago. I don't know if they played again or not. But it looks like Florida's going to win that one again.
No, they did not play. I think so. I think McDavid's a little bit hurt too.
I don't follow a lot of hockey, but my son Devin in California, he's a big hockey fan. He likes Las Vegas. And that kind of got me involved in it as far as watching it. And when it comes on TV, I stop. I pay attention because he likes it. You know what I mean? I do think Florida's going to take it. I like the Oilers just because of past history when I was younger. That logo stands out to me. But as far as right now, I think Florida's got them.
That's the first thing I saw was the logo. I don't really follow hockey because, Oklahoma's not a hockey state, really. But I saw the Oilers. I remember that. I always love watching highlights from hockey games. I mean, those guys can do amazing things on skates. But it's just between baseball, basketball, and football, it's always been hard to fit another sport in.
I agree.
But I do love the history of hockey. The USA Miracle Team and the
But
Olympics.
Canada also a Stanley Cup in.
It's always fun when they celebrate to see who's going to drop the Stanley Cup. But
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
yeah, or drink lots of beers out of it, or go swimming with it, or I don't know. Ovi did lots with it. I know that. All right, so next we have So yesterday or a couple days ago, Nick Chubb signed with the Houston Texans for 1 year, $2.5 million. Very interesting. They should have a good backfield though. Now they have Mixon and Chubb. Same backfield, should have a good year.
I think it was a good signing by Chubb. To me, he's worth more than 2.5, but he's coming off that horrible injury. I think he's going to make Houston's run game a lot better. I am not a Mixon fan. He's a pass catcher out of the backfield. Chubb will be able to just pound it up. I think it was a good move by Houston.
I agree. I think that he gives CJ a little bit of leadway because he's going to pound it a little bit more and cause a threat. So CJ will be able to get open and throw that ball out more. Like you said, who they had last year, it was just a wide out situation, and they knew who to cover. So it made CJ towards the end of the season not be as prominent as he should have been. So I think adding Chubb to it will make it a little bit more dominant for CJ to be able to spread out and hit his man.
So anytime you can add an offensive weapon for a couple mil, you're probably doing pretty good. Even if he was hurt, he's still going to be a threat because even guys that may not have the speed that they've always had before, they can still catch.
What's your next one there, Max?
Yeah, they got to replace Stephon Diggs somehow, right? All right, next we have dude's name, guy from the Detroit Lions, offensive lineman, retired.
So wait a minute.
See, I want to use the wrong name because I know it's not
You looked up the
Ramstein.
picture, you did all that stuff. You don't remember the dude's name?
No, because I had it written down wrong in my notes too.
Next time, put the name with the picture.
But yeah, so
There you go.
yeah, maybe.
All right, so that guy that retired, I think that's a huge blow to Detroit.
Production.
That's huge for them, I think. They lost a lot of coaches.
He
And
was a starting guard.
I think it was their center.
Yeah.
It's center.
That's huge.
I wish there was a way for NFL linemen's cards to be worth more because those guys put their bodies through so much. They do so much. They're kind of like it's like everybody knows that they're there, but they're severely neglected as far as, compared to quarterbacks, receivers, linebackers. And I mean, these guys are, 10 years from now, he may not be able to walk without assistance.
Yeah, the offensive linemen usually are the unsung heroes. You might recognize someone when, running back runs them over and you see his name with the footprint right below it.
Yeah. I wish there was a way they did more like one-on-ones of these kind of guys. Some of the positions that really don't get a lot of recognition of putting more rare, scarcer, cool-looking cards for them.
I agree. I played line.
Because you probably wouldn't be somebody collecting that guy, but definitely for players, people that collect team stuff, those would be cool cards to have.
Vicky got.
All right, so next we have.
So
do you know who this is? Any idea who this is? Any guesses?
Is that Matthew McConaughey with the perm?
Yeah.
It looks like.
No.
He's a coach.
No. So next we come over here. That was Tom Thibodeau.
You're still on your hair.
Here's the 3 more pictures of Tom Thibodeau as well. But yes. I'm just saying, the guy's got his hair. It's horrible. But unfortunately, yes, he was fired. I don't agree with firing. You take the team to the Eastern Conference Final and you get fired, it's horrible. I mean, maybe he got fired because he had to cut his hair. I can't tell you. But Tom Thibodeau's firing, I think it's horrible.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I think he's a great coach. He makes the players work. And I was reading some stuff that the owner is the one who made the decision after the owner and the GM did the exit interviews with the players, and some of the players didn't like having to work more minutes. It's like, shit. You were playing a game, getting paid millions of dollars. You hardly have back-to-backs, and most of them won't play it. I really thought the Knicks would have outlasted Indiana because of the way Thibodeau coaches and keeps them in shape, but a stupid move to me.
Yeah, usually in the NBA, if you got a team that makes it that far, it's usually just one more player you need to add to your roster to get past that hump, or maybe 2. Someone else come off the bench, but very rarely is it the coach that screwed stuff up and got you that far.
From what I heard, it was a player's decision. Like you said, Eric, a lot of players didn't like the roughness of his coaching. And they blamed, basically what I heard is they blamed him for them being wore out towards the end because he made them work so hard during the season.
Yeah.
So it was a blame game. It was political, and it was from the players. That's the way I see it.
Hey, and the Knicks, they're getting
as an owner,
because I think 3 teams now have declined the Knicks' request to interview their coaches or assistant coaches.
Yeah, and as an owner, though, you should have known that Thibodeau was a hard ass. You can't back down when your players are whining to you. Oh, but he's a hard ass. Look, bro, you hired him.
I bet you they hired him because he was a hard ass because the Knicks were soft before.
That's what I'm saying. So now these guys don't want to play a long minutes and work hard. You shouldn't have hired Tibbs in the first place. Then I don't know. It's stupid.
Yeah, I don't see how a high profile coach is going to want to go there. Oh, well, if I make the conference finals, some player is going to not like the fact I sat him or I played him too much.
I agree with that. I think they're giving the players a little bit too much leeway when it comes to what's going on behind the scenes in the GM desk. They're letting them have their way.
It's the New York drama.
A lot of it has to do with emotions too. When you're emotional like that, you're a player. You can't let your emotions get involved. It's a business,
No,
it is.
So we have the $1 million softball player got re-signed for another $1 million year. So she will be $2 million or another $1 million richer. She did not win the college playoff this year, but again, $1 million softball player. You would have told me that when I was 18 years old, I'd have told you were crazy.
My daughter texted me when that happened, and what do you think, Dad? I was like, I get the Texas Tech trying to get a player in there, get some prominence with them, but I don't think she's bringing that much money back to the program. She's not a football or basketball player. It's their money. They got some alum going to give it to them, or some alum's business, however they want to do it. I just don't see her bringing that much back to Texas Tech.
If they're giving these kids $1 million contract, what are they going to expect when they get to the big time? And that goes for any sport. I understand them paying the college people for their likeness. I understand them, making sure that they can concentrate on their school and their program. by paying them a little bit for their commercial or for their likeness. But as far as giving them $1 million, I mean, what's it going to do to the professionals? What are the professionals going to ask for now? If it's coming down to that, you know what I mean? It's a lot more than just it being softball or it being college. I think that is going to add a big stamp on what other professional athletes are going to ask for.
Well, I mean, and they're just going up. Shea's up for what, $78 million a year on his extension?
Yeah.
I mean, the highest ever. And, you know, he'll only be there as the top dog for a year or two before someone else tops it. Yeah, it's crazy. But supposedly a lot of this is coming from, you know, the TV money. But until fans, I mean, anyone try to go to an NFL game in the last few years? They're pricey. How are you going to bring your family to an NFL game? Like, no, you can't eat today. We got into the game. See if you can find some popcorn down there by that guy.
No hot dogs.
You know, until fans stop paying to go and seeing them, it ain't going to change nothing.
And so the problems that I'm seeing as a junior high teacher, that parents are seeing these college athletes make this kind of money. And so kids are getting held back in elementary and junior high so that they can be a year older when they come in playing athletics to try to get scholarships. And it's happening a lot all over the U.S. of kids getting held back, not academically, not because they couldn't do the work, but just trying to get a leg up to have another year practice in sports before they get into junior high or high school sports, trying to get these $1 million contracts, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Because, I mean, for an 18-year-old kid, 19-year-old kid, I mean, even $200,000, that can be life-changing money at that point in their life. That pays mom and dad's house off. That does a lot. But then you also look at all these athletes who have got these millions and are now broke. I mean, are we giving $1 million and then making these athletes go to some type of financial training courses? Do they have financial advisors that are helping in? Is the colleges providing programs for them or putting half the money in a savings account until they get 25 or 30 or, you know, something? Because I know, heck, if I had that much money when I was 25, I know I wouldn't have it today.
Yeah. There should be some type. And I know that they were talking about for the college kids doing some kind of financial management. But if you're 18 and fresh in college and getting that, you going to listen to them? Probably not.
No, I mean, when I went to college,
I'm going to go buy me a big-ass chain and a fat car.
That's the
It is, because I got paid to go to college. My last 3 semesters, I pocketed $5,000 each semester, and I didn't just blow it. I was mechanic too at the time, so I bought a $5,000 toolbox that had Jesse James on the front of it. There's probably other things I could have spent my money on. Luckily, that's something that was a good investment because I still have it today at 43 years old. But the other $10,000, that was Xboxes, PlayStations, weekends with the buddies doing stuff probably shouldn't be doing. And I don't have anything to show for that. I could just, like I said, imagine if I had 100,000, 200,000 of what kind of dumb stuff I would have done.
And some of them do.
Yeah. But you're right too that they're not going to get that money back.
He changed fat cars.
And plus, I mean, when I'm watching games, college games, it doesn't seem like college baseball stadiums or softball stadiums really have the capacity or are consistently full like what football and basketball are.
They don't bring in that many fans.
Yeah. It's sad because I know
maybe 5,000.
There's a ton of talent. It's just you don't have the fan base there, and until you get the fan base, you're not going to have money.
Between these athletes getting this money and only fans, people getting paid millions of dollars a month, I want to know where the hell all this money came from, bro. Like, that's what I want.
They just print it.
I mean, it just seems
Or,
redundant.
I got another one. Hey, how about all the money that gets spent on? How about all the money that gets spent on weed? How about that one?
Yeah, you're right. From California to
They come
Colorado
up with
to Oklahoma.
they come up with all of a sudden to Washington. Yeah, billions all of a sudden. Billions of dollars get spent on weed. Where did all that money come from before? Where did it go before? That's crazy.
Yeah, I think that's wild. I think that's really wild that people are struggling to pay their bills, and you see it all the time, all over the news. You see it on social media. You see it everywhere that people are hurting when it comes to jobs and stuff. But this money is being passed out like it's paper, like literal paper, not money paper, literal paper.
It is literal paper. We're not back.
There's nothing backing it no more. We know that, but
so it's literally just paper.
Yeah, right? I wouldn't put it past them having a Hollywood house over there. They're just printing money in. You know what I mean?
And what's crazy is everybody's talking about how bad the economy is, but yet you still have all this money people are spending on weed or back to sports cards. How much people are buying? I mean, I cannot believe the amount of money that goes through a show. I know Dallas is even bigger, but it would be cool to see how much money goes through an OKC show of the buying and selling when we're in a stressed economy. I mean, like people really buying that Emmitt Smith Auto 101 and going home and don't have electricity.
I could honestly say I've studied that a little bit as we've gone through this the last 3 years. What I mean by study is I've taken notes on what has gone on. It seems that when the economy is low and when the Bitcoin or stocks are low, people are buying more raw and more quantities of smaller cards for months on end. And then all of a sudden out of the blue, around tax time or whenever people, the economy picks up as far as Bitcoin and stocks are concerned, you'll see people come in and they won't buy raw anymore for the next few months. They'll just be buying relics and jewels and things that they really want and spend $1,100, $1,200 on. So it really, I've noticed that because I do the stock market. So I noticed with the stock market, it kind of follows that a little bit. But then I was talking to my wife about it, and you got to think to yourself, most of the guys that are around our age now and everything, they play the stock market. So when they have that extra income, when it's working, they're going to come buy good things from us,
So injury news.
Very true. So CJ Stroud had a sore shoulder in practice. Rumor has it, according to my sources. But he did throw today. Felt a little bit better, but my sources were telling me he did have a sore shoulder.
But your sources said it felt better today.
He'll be fine. He's not. Yeah, sources say he threw today, and it felt better. So yeah.
Hey, my source I read on ESPN.
Did you guys hear about this one?
AR-15 shoulder. He's looking at a second opinion. So it looks like Danny Jones probably be their starter this year.
AR-15.
Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, he will start week 1. Danny Jones.
Okay.
No, Danny Jones will start week 1. And probably week 2. And probably week 3. And probably week 4. But here, Adam Sandler, in an interview, said that if Derrick Henry rushed for 2,000 yards this season, he would put him in an Adam Sandler movie.
Dude, I love it.
Derrick Henry's a big fan of the Sandman, as we all probably are. Yes, I think this is good. I think this is great. I really am pushing for Derrick Henry 2,000 this season. He came close last year. He had like 1928, I think it was. So he was close. Another year with Baltimore, I think he's going to do it.
It'd be kind of interesting to see towards the end of the season if he's bumping that, 1,800 yards, what the plays start looking like. If coaching staff tries to get it for him or kind of what's going on.
Yeah, he gets close. So the coaches might be like, "Hey, whoa, you're getting a part in this. How about me? I'll be extra. I'll be extra."
Water boy too.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you guys, what's the difference? Okay, let's say Adam Sandler's a big Ravens fan or a big Derrick Henry fan or whoever's team he's on. Okay, what's the difference between this and Shohei? Because as far as I'm concerned, this is a bribe for them to push. He's offering them money. He's offering them a part. You know what I mean? What's the difference? You're betting on him, bro. You're betting on him. You know what I mean? I'm gonna offer you to knock this dude out in the UFC.
Well,
I'm gonna offer you a part.
To me, in this case, Sandler's the one doing the betting, and well, in Ohtani's case, his interpreter was doing the betting.
But Garrett gets to profit off of this whole situation, not only with yards and bonuses from the NFL, but also from Adam Sandler. So, I mean, am I rooting for him to do it and get on a show? Awesome. Yes, it's a very entertainment factor. But on the other side, from people that have bribed somebody or such and such in that state, you know, like, what's the difference? Because he's famous? Because he owns a studio? Because, like, what's the difference? Really? What's the difference?
Part of it
outside look.
Sandler's a lockable guy and everybody loves him.
Yeah, because he's Big Bird. Everybody's cool with him.
Yeah,
it's cool with what he does. He can crap on the corner, and everybody's gonna be cool with it.
Yeah, he never said he was gonna pay him. Offer him a part.
He's not gonna pay him.
Well, and I didn't hear the interview, but I'm sure it was said pretty tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't hear the interview. I'm sure it was said tongue in cheek, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, if he rushes for $2,000, they'll throw him in a movie. I'm sure it was that way. I'm sure it was. Yeah, it will be interesting to see. I'm rooting for it.
The two rookies last year, who were they? The receiver out of the Giants and someone else. Remember they had that bet on who was going to win Rookie of the Year or whatever, and the NFL said, that constitutes gambling. So you know the NFL looked into that. And they'll probably look at Derek and be like, you can't get paid.
Oh, yeah. You remember they were teammates in college, I think.
All right, LeBum.
So next we move on to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was at practice today, looking pretty nimble. I don't know if you guys saw the clips, but he looked very nimble, looked very spry today in practice.
Well, yeah, he just spent 3 months in a
Aaron Rodgers signing with the Steelers.
How old is he now?
Oh, he's married.
41.
How old is?
41, I think.
I think the Steelers did this to get a better quarterback than what they had. I just don't see him going to help them that much. They got more needs. But here's the sad thing. If the Steelers do have a good season with LeBum as their quarterback, they're going to get a lower end draft pick in the first round. We all know they need a quarterback. I would have just ran with what they had, not because I really don't like LeBum, but go with what you got. You get a top 10 pick, get you a future quarterback, because now Mason Rudolph is not their future quarterback. Aaron Rodgers isn't. You know, he'll put butts in the seats. They might win 8 or 9 games. Could Aaron Rodgers break Mike Tomlin's streak of 500 or better?
I agree with what Eric said. I think it's a publicity stunt. I think it's more of a publicity stunt to bring aspect towards Pittsburgh. I think that he might start in the beginning, but I also think that with Cleveland having so many quarterbacks and they're going to be releasing quarterbacks, I think they're playing for the long game. You know, they're playing golf. So I think they're going to snatch somebody up to fill in. Who's backup behind him?
Mason Rudolph and somebody else.
Yeah, I think they're going to probably liquidate a few things before trade time, and they're going to get somebody from Cleveland because there's too many good quarterbacks at Cleveland right now, and they're going to be released. You know what I mean? They're not going to keep them all.
And
So
what
I think
kind
this was more of a social media stunt, more publicity stunt than anything.
negative media stuff is he going to end up bringing to the Steelers? Because he's been kind of out there the last couple of years.
Hey,
Wow.
and apparently he got married.
Yeah, I heard. I saw a headline on that. Read a little bit of it. Just kind of nonchalantly.
Yep.
Yeah, I got married. Which, I mean, good for him if he found somebody that he loves. But I don't know, at his age and just his history from the last couple of years, I don't think he's going to be that corner for him, that foundation that they need.
What's that old song? You got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them. And that man right there has been hurting his legacy since he don't want to leave.
Yeah.
He's trying to win one to get away from the Favre shadow. He's like, I got to get one more. I can't be like Favre.
He's chasing that quarter, but he's spending $200,000 trying to chase that 25 cents, bro.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter what he does. He's not going to come out of Favre's shadow because, I mean, Favre, for the stuff he's done the last few years that isn't cool, that dude could lower his shoulder and take a hit and plow over people like not many other NFL quarterbacks could do. And you're not going to see Rodgers ever do that. He's going to be a slide every time.
Yeah, he's a slider. He should be the spokesman for White Castle.
Bing ching. All right, so that's all I have. That's it. And look at that, 7:01, right at tip off. Yeah, how good am I?
I thought it was 7:30.
It starts at 7:30, but right now is when they start
anybody else
doing
got
the
anything?
lineups.
Hey, here's something real good. So the other day, we're setting up the projector, getting ready to watch the Thunder game,
Even better.
and have it ready. And yeah, they didn't play Saturday; they played Sunday.
Hey, but you know what? We were set up for Sunday. We were set up perfect.
Hey, we did
Just testing
fights, and we watched the part of the money in the bank. So, what? Hey,
this weekend,
Yeah.
I'm not sure
That's
what the
pretty good.
NBA Finals looking like, but Miranda Maverick is fighting UFC, and I got to meet her at one of GG2's shows last summer. She's a awesome, sweet lady, awesome, and she's fun to watch fight too. The girl, she can fight, and she's been training her butt off. And so, if you get a chance to watch UFC this weekend, Miranda Maverick, she'll be one to watch.
we'll have to check it out. Some of the girls put on better fights than some of the guys.
And the main event
Yeah,
is
for sure.
Israel Adesanya as well. Or no, excuse me, Kamaru Usman, I think. There's a good main event as well on that UFC show.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, we'll appreciate you coming by to the ones
Hey,
of
thanks
the
for the invite.
nuns. Eric,
Yep, for the ones of the nuns. Now
Yep.
you guys got to check out
do this more often,
the
guys.
end. I like the
Our
ending.
sponsors.
Yeah, the outro I like better than the intro. And again, we appreciate you. And hey, to the ones of the nuns, we'll check you later.
Peace out.
Till next week. And sponsoring today's show, we have Dick's Drive-In. Come by Dick's Sunday from noon to 5 and get a bag of Dick's for $10. Come to our biggest Dick's location on the corner of John Holmes Drive and Ron Jeremy Boulevard. Next, we have Chesterfield Cigarettes. The cigarette for all your favorite athletes. Must be 18 or older. The lard. Are you feeling depressed? You want to have a great day? Eat more lard. Sega and their newest gaming system, the Play Cube. Pick one up at your local mall today. Only $199.99. X-ray glasses. See your favorite girl's britches without her even knowing. A must-have for all peeping Tom. While supplies last, get a free shoe mirror for ultimate up-the-skirt action. Pick some up at your local 5 and Dime. Budweiser. Not just your favorite beer, it's hers too. When you need to get her drunk, grab a Budweiser.